Host, Jesse Showalter. Like I said, it's day 4 and we have been doing some serious work and people have been putting in that work and really just making it happen. So I'm excited to be here for day 4. It's Friday. Hey, happy Friday, everybody. Got the weekend coming up. You get to take a little break and then come on back Monday morning and we'll be starting again for the entirety of next week. Lots of people joining me in the chat. We got Tim, we got Eric, we got Jack and Jamil. I love Jamil's comment in the chat. It says, I think I'm gonna stay for a bit. This is more interesting to me than all of YouTube these days. Aw, that's so nice. Hey to everybody in the chat. If you're not in the chat, please jump in there. That's a huge part of these daily challenges where you get to interact with us here. So let's dive in and take a look at what this whole daily challenge thing is all about really quickly if you don't already know. The daily creative challenge is really each day. Right here we can see we're gonna receive a challenge each and every day. Like I said, this is day 4. So if you scroll down, we can see each of these challenges that unlock each and every morning. Today, we're gonna be focusing a little bit on libraries, and we've kind of themed this challenge, new year, new me. Things about health and fitness and just wellness. I don't know how else to say it. So, but these are each of the challenges. If you want the starting file, you just hit get started. You can always replay these by going back up and watching the videos, but those unlock each morning. You're gonna wanna join the community chat, not just the chat here, but you're gonna wanna jump over to our Discord channel that has over 30,000 creatives in it, where you'll be able to talk with them, interact with them after the stream. I'll be on there chatting with you guys. And then you can also submit your work. So we have some work that have been submitted from the previous days. Check these out. This is a layout that was done. They did like a desktop version of what we did yesterday. That's kind of nice. Here's our recipe from day 1. Here is like a tracking app. So just a lot of really great work in here. We're gonna come back and check out some more of these after the fact. You're gonna watch these daily live shows. That's part 3. And follow along with me with that starting file if you want to, or maybe just peruse it. Maybe just be a voyeur of what's happening here on the screen and see if I can actually complete this design in the allotted amount of time. Can I? We'll find out today. Okay, and then finally, step 4 is you're gonna share your work on Behance where you can get feedback, you can submit those Behance links, whether it's static images or you wanna actually just embed the prototype of your design right there inside Behance, you can do that. And you wanna make sure that you're using the hashtag XD Daily Challenge. That way it shows up inside of Behance. We can go search for you and see all of your work populate just like that. And so, hey, hello in the chat to Ulner and Anna and Kara. There's a lot of faces and names that have been coming back in the chat each and every day. That's the coolest ever. I love seeing you guys in the chat. We are gonna jump in. So if you have that starting file, download that file. We're gonna jump over to XD. And so here's our starting file. Mine's gonna look a little bit different. I have a few things that I've set up to help me be successful in completing this challenge because I'm real bad at it. I wish the stream was 35 to 40 minutes. We ain't got that kind of time. But today we're gonna be focusing on an e-commerce mobile app that specializes in running shoes. I like to run. Anybody else out there like to run? If you like to run, give me a little hello. If you don't like to run, what kind of exercise do you like to do? And you know, like Xbox Connect or Wii Sports counts, in my opinion. Just me. Okay, so we're gonna be doing that, and we're really gonna be focusing on using the Creative Cloud libraries, which if you are not like accustomed to Creative Cloud libraries, mind-blowing. The amount of connectivity between the entire Creative Cloud that you have. This is like the power of XD. It's tied into the power of everything else. That's Adobe, so we're gonna be doing that today. Got some inspirations there for you to look at and a bunch of links to resources if you need them. Speaking of resources, here's our starting artboard. We have a few icons along the left-hand edge that we might be using. And I already just went ahead and created some textiles. Dave says he likes to run to his bed. I like that exercise. I like to just crash. I'm with you. Anybody else got one? I like to run from my responsibilities. Oh, it's Friday. You can do that. 'Tis the weekend. All right, so we got a few elements here and let's just get started, shall we? I don't know how I put that in there. Well, first thing I'd like to say is before we get to the libraries and start designing stuff, I haven't really touched on the assets panel very much in the left-hand column. And I just want to point that out really quick, how much I love the assets panel. And here's why. I got a couple colors over there, but I also have some textiles. How about we just add those? I'm gonna select all of my text styles that I've created. I'm gonna come over to character styles here and press plus. Boom, they're all in there. And yes, we're using Poppins today because we love Howard Pinsky's addiction to Poppins. So now we can delete these and get them out of there. And they're all stored right there. Wasn't that great? All the colors you're using in anything, just grab all the colors, bam. That's how you get all those colors in here. Components, why don't we just bang? Well, we don't want to do it that way. We want to make components out of each individual one, obviously like that. But you can do it with components as well. So I love the assets panel, really, really good, okay? All right, let's get cranking on this thing. It's an e-commerce experience shopping for shoes. And if you were with me yesterday, you'll notice that I like to work backwards. So I'm gonna do the main product screen first. And if we have time, maybe we can push out and do like a category or like a list view. But let's start with that main view. Now, we could probably start with some stuff. I got a color over here. Why don't we just bring that color in? That could be fun. I'm just gonna grab the rectangle tool by pressing R and drag a rectangle out. I'm gonna stretch it out to the edges of my screen, turn the border off, and then I'm just gonna hit my color right there in my assets panel. Now, this is pretty cool. So far, so good. Great design. Can we go home? No, we can't go home yet. We got some time. All right. Let's bring in, we've been doing like kind of a card style, but why don't we like go a little bit more organic? Why don't we get a little bit more shifty with it and spicy? I'm gonna drag this thing down here. Let's make it white, and then we'll bring it up above and all the way down to the bottom. And then what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna hit return. I'm gonna come into this view, and why don't we put like another point right here, and I'm gonna double click on it so I get my Bezier curve controls here. I'm gonna lift this thing up. Why don't we do something like that? Something a little bit more fun. Got a little bit more action to it, okay? I'm liking it so far. Everybody in the chat, I hope you're doing good. Hope you're following along. Let's get some imagery in here. Now, I could jump out to my Finder or find something on my desktop and pop it in, but I really wanna use my libraries because if you haven't used them, they're super powerful. To do that, I'm gonna press Command-Shift-L. It's gonna bring up my libraries, or I can head up to, where is it? I just always use the quick key, so I always forget. If you ever need help though, just type it in the help, Open CC Libraries. There it is, File, Open CC Libraries. But Command-Shift-L will do it as well. And there's my library for this project. So I've already built some components. I've already brought some things in, and I've done that inside Photoshop. So let's jump over to Photoshop really quick for like 30 seconds to just show you what I've done. I'm gonna head over to Photoshop. I went out and got some stuff off Adobe stock. I downloaded it and it showed up in my libraries. Now you can see in Photoshop here is my library over here on the right-hand side, and I have multiple libraries. We got shoes and we have everything. Let me kick back over to XD so you can see. I have shoes and I have everything. I can also create new libraries. And if you want to see more detail of your library, you can always bring out the actual like Creative Cloud like menu right there, and we can drop down to our, where is it? Our work up here in the top left, and here we have our libraries. Now what's so cool about this is if I want to get rid of something, I want to add something, I can do it all here. I can click on stuff, I can add an element here, I can rename it, I can right click and edit them or export them, I can duplicate them. So I got a lot of control in here, and we've created like one source of truth, for all of our stuff that we want to do. But how did I get in here? Well, let me tell you, because we got a couple shoes in there we're gonna use. Let's go back to Photoshop. I have this, in my layers panel, I have all those shoes, and I have one more right here that I wanna add to my library. Here's how simple this is. Ready for your mind to be blown? I'm gonna grab my shoe on my canvas here. I'm gonna drag it over. I'm gonna drop it. Bam, it's just been added to my library. How do I know? Because I'm gonna come back to XD, and there it is. It's uploading into my library right now, and that's the shoe that we're gonna wanna use. So we're really excited about this. This is really good. While we're waiting for that shoe to load, why don't we bring in some of our textiles, okay? So I'm gonna just put some text right here. Where did our text go? There it is. And let's just type, oh, it's white. That's why I couldn't see it, okay? Let's just make it black right here for a second. Let's drag out a couple versions of these and let's start using our textiles, okay? We'll just implement them like so. And why don't we do, what's the name of a shoe? Lunar bounce. Let's make sure this is left aligned using our text alignment tools right there. And I wish that I would not have deleted that little description of the shoe because that would have been very, very helpful for me to have. I'm gonna put the lunar bounce is a great shoe for running, and I don't know what else, and jumping. That's the worst description of a shoe of all time. But hey, we got something in there, right? So we're gonna do this, bring that down, and why don't we bring this up, left align it, and write description here, okay? So we got a little bit going on there. Our shoe is now available. We notice because we can drag it, right? So ready, I'm gonna drag a shoe out, and I'm gonna drop it over here. Bam, that's a big shoe. That is a size 500 shoe. Okay, so let's grab our shoe, shrink it down, and just bring it into view. I'm gonna zoom in here. I'm gonna bring it up, and I'm thinking let's just flip it horizontally with our control up here in the top right. Do that, and let's just put it right there. That's kind of nice. We want that just to drip down. Now, what's so cool about this is if I want to replace that shoe later, I can just drag a new shoe from my library right in there. This is amazing. Oh my gosh. And it's just constantly keeping everything updated. So this is really nice. This is how we use libraries. If, let's say, for instance, I wanted another version of this shoe, I could come back into Photoshop. Maybe I could add like a hue and saturation layer on top of this. Why don't we just do this really quick so we can see. This is gonna be really bad, but I'm gonna colorize it. We bring up the saturation. If you wanted to make a crazy blue shoe like this, you can do that. I'm gonna group it together. I'm gonna drag it into my library. And now we have access to that same shoe in a different variation. So this is a cool way just to create things and keep them all consolidated inside of your library. So I really love that. All right, let's keep cruising and see what we can do here. I definitely think that I'm gonna use a plugin called Polygons and create a little star. Gotta have a little rating thing going on there. So why don't we put away our libraries for now and just pick like a nice star kind of color. I like the contrast between this yellow kind of gold color and the purple that's up above, so that's really, really nice. Why don't we create a component out of that star, and then why don't we press Command R and just repeat grid it and make our life really easy. There we go. We got a little 5-star rating for our lunar bounce shoe. I'm gonna bring this text up here and put 137 ratings. Okay, let's change it to regular point text, and let's bring that way down. Something like that. Just a small little detail that we have in there. All right. How's everybody doing in the chat? You following along? You digging what we're creating so far? Let me know. Let me know what your thoughts are. I'm interested. Okay, so the shoe's looking pretty good. I think we should use our arrow now. So why don't we create a component out of it, and we'll bring our arrow up here. Why don't we override and make it white? That's the master. You see that? So when I click on our icon, we see that it's the component master. So I've actually changed the default look and feel of that icon in the master. If I was to drag out an instance, I could do whatever I want to it without changing that original source of truth, right? And again, ready for the hotness? We can open up our libraries. We can create a new group inside of our library called icons. Here we go. We're about to get crazy. We're going to drag this icon into, oh, wait a minute. Maybe that doesn't work. That component into our, ooh, wait a minute. Oh, that's how you do it. Sorry, I almost forgot. So we have our icon. I'm going to head down to the bottom left. This component, bang. Now it is in my, now it's in there. Isn't that nice? I can grab all of these. This little icon right here, component. There's another one. Oh, I still had it selected, sorry. Let's go back and get the actual shoes here. We want to select those. We could add our little graphic of our shoes in there and our compass right inside the library. Now, I could use it from over here if I want to, but I can also drag in versions of this icon from my library. That way, if I need to jump out and do some work in Illustrator or Photoshop or XD, everything's available to me all the time. It's like just that master source of truth that I love. I just love having that single source of truth. Okay, so we're gonna jump over here. Why don't we take our small description text, come up here and go back to the categories. And let's make that white so it pops a little bit. I like that. That's looking all right so far. Okay, now we have like kind of our little description here. Why don't we bring the text down just a little bit so there's a little bit more contrast there. And I'm just gonna add a little bit more description in there so there's some more meat in that text. So I know it's repetitive, but this is concept, right? Can't wait to see your guys' concepts in the Discord after we're all done with this. Why don't we bring this down? Create a new thing here, like how about colors? That could be cool. And what should we do? Should we, let's do like a little color droppers kind of thing. We're just doing this on the fly and having some fun. I'm gonna hit E for ellipse. I'm gonna drag an ellipse out. I'm gonna get rid of that and let's use our colors. Now we could also, if you notice in our libraries, we have colors. We should probably add that, right? Let's add our fill color, bang, right in there. And it's not grouped, but we can just go ahead and group it right up here. If you don't like this view of the library, you can always come up and go back to the grid view, which I like this view a lot better. I can see more at a glance. That's just me, but it's your preference. So here we go. Now we have our color kind of saved in there. Why don't we, I'm just gonna turn off our library again. Why don't we just drag out a couple versions of this? I'm going to actually do something really quick. I'm gonna lock our background. Ooh, that's the library, sorry. Get my layers panel there. I'm gonna lock that. I'm gonna name it BG for background. It's just a lot of purple color options. This would be the worst selection for color if you're like, what do you want, purple or purple for your shoes? Well, okay. Let's go, let's do this really quick. Let's get rid of these, and why don't we actually do like a very light border, and let's drop some shadow on that bad boy. And you know, I like some shadow. I'm gonna bring it down a little bit so it's not so intense though, just a little bit. And then why don't we create a component out of this, and we will, we'll drag an instance of it out, drag an instance of it out. So we got a couple options. Let's just pick some other colors that might be available for this shoe. Actually, the one we currently have is kind of a grayish white color. So let's do that. Then choose our purple. I love that as you're working in XD, there's so many different ways to kind of like select similar things. Like I can choose my colors down here that are in my color palette or my color picker. I can go over to my components menu. I can open up my libraries. It's real. That's like, how do you want to work? What's your workflow like? Let me know. What do you prefer out of these? Are you digging the libraries? Do you like the components panel? What's up? Let me know, talk to me. Let's pick one more. Just choose that, fill, and maybe you can also get this in like black. Okay, that's looking pretty cool. And yes, when you're doing concept work, you can tweak the colors that are used to make it look really, really consistent. In the real world scenario, you might have some pink shoes, some crazy olive green shoes, and it'll mess up this nice color palette that I have cooking right now. But when you're doing concept work, you get to choose. So that's what's nice. All right, I'm gonna choose that, I'm gonna choose that. And why don't we do now, we got a little bit of time left, why don't we do maybe a like bottom like navigation or something like that? So here's the first thing I'm gonna do. I'm gonna drag out this guy right here. I'm gonna fill it with a gradient. So just a rectangle filled with a gradient. You're like, why on earth are you doing that? Because I'm gonna copy and paste another version of it, but this time I'm gonna fill it with solid white. And then I'm going to just bend this corner, and bring it down a little bit. So we have similar bends on each corner. And let's just, while we're here, let's drag this up and lighten it up. So now we can take our icons that we have here, and we can bring them right into our nav bar. Let's bring those in. We of course could have made these part of our library, made that really, really easy, but we just had them sitting on the side, so that works too. We're gonna wanna select all of those, and we are gonna distribute evenly, horizontally, using our control up there. Wanna align them, and then just make sure that we're over on our layers panel, and let's grab all of these, group them together, and just center that right in our nav. Okay, that's looking pretty good. Now, I wish I had time. I don't have a whole lot of time left, but this is just one screen, and we could have designed like a whole nother screen, done some really fun animation. Here's what I would imagine if you want to take this homework and do a little homework and submit your challenge or your file to Behance. I could imagine over here on this side, I'm gonna do this in like 30 seconds, all of this stuff could opacity down, not all of it. Let's do this. Let's grab all these elements like this. All of these little elements right here could opacity down, like move out to the side kind of thing. This shape we could unlock, and it could become just one piece here. Our shoe could go into place like that. Our color could slide up. You know, ooh, there we go. Let's keep it up here and take the opacity down. Our background could have like a slight like dark color, maybe just like a little bit of a neutral color. This thing here could come in, you do some fun overlay stuff, and then you could do a little bit of prototyping. So we're not gonna do the full thing because we don't have time. but we could do a little auto animate there and a little auto animate back. And you could have something that's, you know, animating back and forth between the individual shoe here, like on the product screen, and then back to like a list view. So that would be, I feel like that would be like a fun thing to do. And maybe after I'm done, I'll post up my work inside the Behance. You can review my work and see if I was actually able to make that into a reality. So we got a little bit of time here. Why don't we spend some time looking at some of the submissions that we have over in our Discord. So let's check some of these out from previous stuff. I'm gonna open up a few of these links and let's just talk about the amazing work that you guys have done during this daily creative challenge. Have we got any more links? Because I like looking at them over there. Ooh, workout animation. Ooh, that's gonna be like our little pie chart and that animation thing that Howard Pinsky helped us out on yesterday. Let's look at that healthy tracker right there. All of these are gonna be amazing. I'm really, really excited about this. Let's jump over. Whoa, look at this thing. This is nice. I love these three-dimensional shots. I think that's really, really nice. I like the colors that you're using, and I'm really interested where you got these illustrations. These look really, really cool. If I had any sort of advice, I'd say watch out for that drop shadow. You know I love me some drop shadow, right? But you gotta be careful with it. You gotta really finesse it and make it a little less intense. I think that putting some color or some context behind this piece, watching out for that drop shadow, making it pop a little bit would look really nice, but the work is fantastic. What do we have here? Oh, we have a prototype we get to check out. I'm gonna start this. Ooh, see that sweet animation start? Bam, it goes up. What happens if I click one of these? Nice. Look at that. That's looking good. That was a really, really nice one. Okay, wonderful work. I think you did a great job. Oh, look at that. We had a little, you did it. Oh, it animates all the way through? Man, that is so amazing. Good job on that one. Let's go back to this one. Leanne Kahn has her yesterday's challenge. Love the layout. When you put stuff on Behance, I think take Leanne as a great example. She case studied this thing up. That looks really nice. She has a little animation that we can watch. Look at that. Oh, we're watching it happen. She's clicking them and they're changing. Now she did something that was a lot simpler, but it totally works, right? As she's clicking them, just fading in and out. Doesn't even have to be all sorts of fancy schmancy. That looks good to me. If I saw that in an actual application, I'd be really, really stoked. What else we got? That's really, really nice. All right, so again, make sure that you are, let's look back at our work. Make sure that you are taking your work, that you are uploading it to Behance. Take a little bit of time, like, you know, vet it out a little bit, flesh that thing out, make a case study, and then put it over here in our Behance channel. Let's see what else we have in our Behance channel, our current challenge. Here's our recipe from day one, looking really, really nice. Think about contrast, think about sizing, but I think overall the layout's really, really nice. I'd love to see a prototype of that one. This is a little shot of some animation action that's going on. Let's see that a little closer. See, look at that. I even love the button has some activity too. That's all happening. Maybe the only thing is watch out for this little dancing icon up here. Not sure if that's the effect you wanted. If it is, could be pretty cool. But I think, you know, overall, really, really nice work. I also love that some people took our mobile challenges that we're doing and they've created either tablet or desktop experiences out of them. What's really cool is if we would go back and look at our project, how would we communicate this into a tablet or desktop experience? Not really sure, but I know we would definitely want to start on our design tab, start thinking about using our responsive resize stuff, which we might talk about next week. If you come back Monday morning, next week we've got a bunch more streams for XD Challenge. I'll be here. If you're expecting somebody else, so sorry, you get me. But I'm excited to be there. So I'll see you guys next week. I'm really, really excited. Thank you for tuning in on the XD Daily Creative Challenge. Make sure to post your stuff up there with the hashtag XD Daily Challenge so we can see that stuff on Behance. Really, really excited about that. Thank you for joining me in the chat and posting your work inside of our Discord server. We will see you next week. Take care.